Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden signed the anti-lynching bill, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Bill, into law today.
Everybody? Let's see that. All right. It's a law.
Okay, yay.
Okay, Johnson, there you go. There you have it. Joe Biden signing the anti-lynching bill into making it a federal hate crime that goes effective today. And there he goes. What did he say? He said, all right, it's the law. This law didn't come out of nowhere. This law, the bill, this push to have lynching be a federal hate crime has been in the making since the 1900s. And I mean literally 1900. Back in 1900, North Carolina Representative George Henry Wright, the only black member of Congress at the time, introduced a bill, an anti-lynching bill, 1900. Congress first considered the anti-lynching legislation. This was 120 years ago. And until March this year, it failed to pass. And it had been introduced how many times? 200 times. It had been introduced, and 200 times it failed to pass. Vice President Harris was a co-sponsor of the bill. When she was in the Senate, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act was named for the black teenager who we all know as Emmett Till in Mississippi the summer of 1955, who was lynched, and the men who committed the crime, who later admitted to the crime, served no time at all in jail for the crime of killing 14-year-old Emmett Till. So now, that's what happened. And here goes my comments about it, folks. This is literally 120 years too late. It's literally 120 years behind schedule. And if I was going to catch a flight 120 years too late, would I be happy that the bus or that the train or that the plane finally came? But that's what we got to ask ourselves. Is this actually something to be happy about, or is it literally a smack in the face, or figuratively a smack in the face? I think it's a little of each. Hey, Joe Biden has been in the Senate for a long time. If he wanted to help support this, he could have championed for it while he was there. He was a senator. He did not champion for it. Now that he's president, he signs it into law, and okay, but he was in the Senate for what, 30 years? Was he a sponsor, a co-sponsor? See, there's no talk of that. Only in this article did they refer to Vice President Harris as a co-sponsor when she was in the Senate. They called her a prime sponsor. I don't know what a prime sponsor is. So, I don't want people, I had mixed emotions about it. I'm not saying we reject it. We can't reject it. We have no choice in what laws are passed in this country. And we had any control over what laws were passed or not passed, we would have had this bill a long time ago, wouldn't we? So it's not up to us. But how do we feel about it? How do you feel about this bill being passed? Now it's a federal hate crime to take a black person out and lynch them. Yeah. Finally. You know, at the height of lynchings, some would say there were thousands occurring across the country in a given year. I mean, we know for a fact that police brutality, police incidents where cops kill citizens, a recent report came out to show that number has been grossly underreported by at least 50% of the actual number. And that's in now, not in daytimes. So you mean right after emancipation, when the Klan reformed itself, or the Klan took flight to terrorize black people in the height of that, during Jim Crow, when it was often used as a tactic to scare black people and terrorize black people and just abuse black people for fun, basically, for entertainment purposes. Much more than a slap on the face from a Will Smith. We're talking about dismemberment and other gooey details I'm going to leave out. Then now we have a law that's a lot later than it should have been applied then. It should have been applied then and it wasn't. So much, much later. So here's what I'm telling you guys. It was a federal, in 1900s, this black representative, he submitted this bill. This was 55 years before Emmett Till was lynched. It's possible if Representative George Henry White, the only black member of Congress at the time, during Reconstruction, had been able to get his bill passed, it's possible that the men who brutalized and lynched Emmett Till may have had to stand for justice or may have been brought to justice on the federal level. It's possible. But that Congress did not have the backbone to pass it, did not have the will to pass it, and it took 120 years for them to pass it. How many years did it take them to pass the anti-Asian hate bill? See, when people ask these questions, when the black community, when black members, when black commentators, when black activists bring up these issues, people say it's divisive. How would you feel if it was 120 years for you to get a bill passed when there's been thousands of black people lynched in this country? It takes 120 years to get a federal hate crime. I'd never even heard of an anti-hate bill for Asians. But I got a feeling it didn't take 120 years for it to be passed in this country. So it's not divisiveness, it's equity. It's just the truth. So what did we say about the Democrats on this? And this is why we always put into a quandary, guys, because we got the Republicans who probably voted against this. I don't even have the voting here. I don't know how many Republicans voted against it, but I'm pretty sure they did not many of them did not co-sponsor, if any of them co-sponsored this bill. So we got one party that's opposed to us getting justice and another party that's slower than molasses. That's what you got. I'm going to keep complaining about both of them. That's what I'm going to do. All right, but speaking of bills, there's another bill that's going on in California. Something monumental's happening. The California Assembly has filed a motion in a bill that AB 3121. AB 3121. So let's click up top for that. Down below, there'll be a video that's based on your search results, something that you're into. Do that now, Johnson, and I'll see you on the next one.